This video is sponsored by Squarespace, the all-in-one platform to build a beautiful website. Hi, I'm kchoi. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I work full-time at a consulting firm focusing on change management and strategy implementation. So I make lots of videos about consulting, careers in general, as well as my travels and my life in New York. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, then please go and hit the subscribe button. And while you're there, hit the notification bell as well, because it's free for you and makes me really happy. I have a lot of videos about what consulting is and why you should go into consulting, why I love consulting. But in this video, I want to talk about why consulting might not be the career choice for everybody. Consulting is often thought of as a career choice that can open up a lot of doors for you, be a stepping stone to other fields, because you get exposure to so many different types of clients and industries and types of work. But for some people, or maybe a lot of people, consulting isn't often the best choice, either for your career ambitions or for your personality or working style or general interests. So let's get into 5 reasons consulting might not be for you. First of all, consulting is a client-facing role, and client-facing work can be really demanding. As a consultant, your livelihood obviously depends on your clients. Your clients are paying you, or if you're at a firm, they're not paying you directly, but they're paying your firm. But anyway, the clients are paying you and depending on you to provide a service, and you better deliver. I do think that I'm very lucky that I've been able to develop really good relationships with my clients, so it feels more like a partnership and that we're on the same team versus a buyer just telling a vendor what to do. But there's always going to be a certain level of stress when you're in a client-facing role, which actually applies to a lot of different jobs, not just consulting. When I worked at a public relations firm, I was also client-facing. Lawyers are client-facing. Any role where you're depending on someone to buy the services that your company offers is going to be client-facing, and some people don't do well under that type of pressure. So in that case, working in-house at a brand versus working at an agency or a firm might be a better fit for you. You could also still work at an agency or a firm that provides client services, but you could be in a non-client-facing role as well. The second reason consulting might not be for everyone is that even if you're not in sales, you kind of have to keep your sales mode on all the time. This was something I didn't really realize until I became a consultant, because we obviously have salespeople who are out there trying to get new business, but a lot of the work that I do as a consultant is with repeat clients. So clients that either I've worked with already directly or that the company has worked with in some capacity. In that case, it's not really the salesperson that's making the sale, but the consultant that was working with the client who is moving that sales process along. I personally have never thought that sales was my strong suit, which is why I actually left public relations, because even in the PR world, pitching clients and kind of selling clients to media outlets felt too salesy for me. However, I do think that it starts to come naturally as you develop those relationships with clients, and as you learn about their company and their issues, you start to think about and see ways that you can continue to offer value to them, and that's where the extra sales come in. So I guess if you're interested in becoming a consultant but don't feel like sales is your strong suit, then don't let this one deter you, because again, I think you start to develop this one naturally as you learn the ropes. Reason number 3 is that in consulting, you have to be flexible and very comfortable with ambiguity. I think you'll also see this one in a lot of fields, not just consulting, but I can share an example of how this has come to life for me as a consultant. So for example, I was working on this project with a healthcare client, and we had a lot of different deliverables or work streams, things that we were, contracted to deliver to them. We ended up having to make significant changes to the project and what we were offering because of COVID and how it was impacting their people and their business. So even if I just wanted to execute on the contract and deliver what was there, that's not what the client needed in that time. Sometimes there are things that are out of your control and you just have to make adjustments while balancing the needs of the business, as in the consulting firm, and making sure that you are getting the revenue and the money that you deserve with what's best for the client and what's going on in their world. And oftentimes as a consultant, you are along with the client in that process of figuring out what they need and what's best for them, given whatever external factors are changing things up. Because I mean, that's usually why they hire consultants in the first place, to help them solve and figure out these problems. So in consulting, sometimes the answers are not all in front of you, and you have to really use that critical thinking and be flexible, because things can change at any moment. Before we get into the last 2 reasons on this list, let's take a moment to talk about this video's sponsor, which is Squarespace. Squarespace is an all-in-one platform where you can build your brand, grow your business online, engage with your audience, and sell anything from products to content and even your time. There are so many beautiful templates to make your site stand out and tons of useful features to help you manage your online presence, including scheduling for appointments and classes, tools for selling products in your online store, blogging and commenting features so you can interact with your audience through your content, and so much more. If you've been subscribed to me for a while, you know that I love Squarespace and I 100% think that it is the best and easiest way to make a site and also ensure that it looks amazing. So if you're interested in trying out Squarespace, go to squarespace.com/kchoi to get a free trial. And when you're ready, you can use my code kchoi to get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. All that info will be in the description box, so go check it out. And thank you, Squarespace, for sponsoring this video. Reason number 4 is that it can take a long time to develop expertise in a certain area. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, consultants often get exposure to a variety of different clients and industries and types of projects. And all of that is great for learning and expanding your network and also exploring different industries if you're not really sure what you're interested in. But when it comes to developing expertise and focus in a certain area, let's say you want to be an expert in hospitality, that can often take years and years to develop. So if you're a person who really clearly knows what industry you want to be in, then consulting is probably not the right fit for you, unless you're able to find a consulting role that is specifically within that industry. But I don't often see that a lot, at least in my experience, but I do know that it's out there. But the risk of going into consulting, if you do have an idea of a specific field you want to be in, is that you often don't get control over the types of projects that you're assigned to or the types of industries you're in. So you kind of might be wasting your time if you already know what you're interested in going into. So again, consulting can be really great if you want to explore different fields, but if you have a strong sense already of an industry that you want to go into, then it's probably not the right fit for you. And the 5th and last reason is that travel can make it kind of difficult to have a social life. I think this one might be one of the first reasons that come to mind when thinking about why consulting isn't for everyone, because travel is usually like up there in terms of features of consulting that people know about or talk about. I personally haven't been traveling too much over the last 2 years, but it has picked up over the last 6 months or so, and I do have like a handful of trips planned over the next 2 months. And I do think there are some consultants who are back to that regular weekly grind of traveling to a client site. Sometimes I don't know until 1 or 2 weeks before the business trip or the meeting that I'm traveling, so it can sometimes put a wrench into different plans that I have. Sometimes I have to travel on a Sunday in order to make it for a Monday morning meeting, or I have to travel in really late on a weeknight and miss dinner with my husband or my friends. Don't get me wrong, traveling can be glamorous because you rack up those miles, you gain status, you get upgrades and all of that, but more often it's just kind of exhausting and can sometimes mess up your week. So if you're someone who prefers the stability and regularity of not traveling for work, then consulting might not be for you. That's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed, and if you're thinking about going into consulting or just are curious about lots of different careers, including consulting, then I hope this was helpful. Let me know in the comments what other videos you'd like to see on my channel because it really helps me out. And with that, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!